It's Around the House. When it comes to remodeling and renovating your home, there is a lot to know, but we've got you covered. This is Around the House.
Welcome to the Pro Insider Podcast. This is for all of you business professionals out there that are working in the construction residential industry. You could be a framer, you could be a builder, you could be a remodeler, designer, or even in retail sales. This one is for you. Happy Thursday, everybody. Well, this show is eventually going, I think, end up moving full-time over to our own podcast channel, because as it keeps growing, we might be splitting that off, but we'll stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for that. So keep in mind, you can always follow the Pro Insider on its own RSS feed, which you can go over to aroundthehouseonline.com. So we're debating that right now. Love to hear your feedback if you want to hear that as part of the show this week, or if you want to hear it on its own channel so you can hear it when you want to. It's going to be there for you. So head over to aroundthehouseonline.com if you can't find the Pro Insider. That is where it will be parked, where you can find it individually as its own show. Well, today I wanted to talk about what I talked about in the midweek special, but for builders and remodelers. Lumber prices have been tanking over the last month and a half. If I look right now, as of Thursday morning at 6 o'clock Pacific time in the morning, previous close, we're jumping down. I mean, we're kind of in that $600 1,000 board foot range, which is awesome. It's really awesome, because that means that these new lumber prices coming around, it's going to be really cool. Yeah, 604 right now is where it is. So what does that mean? People go, okay, well, it's dropped down by, it's dropped down by twice. We were at 1,700 and now we're down almost in the 500s. That's great. But when I still walk into my lumberyard or my home improvement store, I'm still paying $65 a sheet for OSB. Here's my prediction of how this is going to go. And this is not a stock advice or futures price guessing, but this is how I think this is going to work out on the retail front. See, right now, they're ordering materials and they're coming in at a lower price. But you've got home centers and lumberyards that have bought material at today's prices, or actually what would have been 2 months ago prices. So the material on the shelf is at the $66 a sheet range. Prices vary depending on where you go. And the stuff going to be coming in is going to be in that $25 or $30 a sheet range. So they got to blast through inventory, get that material ordered, and have it show up on the shelf. So that takes 30 to 45 days. There are hundreds to thousands of people, and probably hundreds of thousands of people out there, that had lumber projects like, I'm going to build a new deck this summer. And they looked at wood prices and went, oh, hell no, we're not doing that. Or I'm going to build that addition on the house. I know 4 or 5 people that were going to do additions this summer went, nope, can't afford it. It's going to cost me another $7 to $10 grand, not doing it. Because I won't get it back out of the house. The math didn't work. So now what are we going to see? I think we are seeing here in the next 45 days, to all of you in the residential construction industry, another boom of people going, whew, all right, project's back on track. So I want everyone to be prepared. We already have a massive shortage of some building materials out there. It's going to get worse before it gets better. Walk down the shelves of a Home Depot or Lowe's and look at the empty bays of stuff, because people have been buying it out and they can't get it here fast enough. It's going to take us probably a year for that to fully recover. So my advice to you, if you're an electrician, make sure you've got the inventory of electrical boxes and wire and outlets and that stuff. You need to stock up a little bit more, because I think we're going to see this fall a new round of shortages, because these companies still have not kept up yet. We can't get stuff overseas from China fast enough. They've had a hard time getting containers moved to the right part of the world. So we've got a bunch of different supply chain issues to get stuff here. So make sure that you're spooled up and ready for this fall, because I think we're going to see some big boom times where people are going to say, especially on lumber-heavy projects, I think home building is going to take off because we still have the low interest rates. Property values are way through the roof. So I think you're going to see builders try to take advantage of that. And then lumber prices are going to get down to be a little more reasonable, where they can actually, you guys can actually sit there and say, okay, I think I know where lumber prices are going to be 90 days from now, so let's sell this project. So make sure that you're ready for this fall rush, because it's coming, guys. It's coming. And if we're doing additions, that means all of you in a flooring store, cabinetry, that rush is coming. That's going to be heading right around the corner. So make sure that all of these things, that you have your supply chain issues worked out. Because I think we've got another boom coming, because now projects are going to be affordable for people, and they've been holding off. I still think people are trying to get out there. I mean, I tried to do some traveling here a few weeks ago, and I looked at airfare prices, and I was like, whoo, that is not cheap right now. There is no discounts going out there for people that are wanting to jump on a plane and head across the country and get out of town. If lumber prices are down, that travel is going to turn into projects. Because I'll be honest, there's still a good majority of our population here in the United States that think that a shutdown's still around the corner, that mask mandates are going to come back. There are still plenty of people shell-shocked over that don't believe this isn't going to go backwards this fall again. And we're not going to get into the reasons of that, but my point being is that we need to be really careful. So make sure that you've got enough people, but get those supply chain issues on your products that you're working on figured out, because I think we're going to see a fair amount of it. Even though I think that we could have a few issues here in lumber in the Pacific Northwest, because I don't know about you, but I'm looking at the news this morning, and my house is not threatened by any means. But I have fire circling our area. There are fires all around north, south, east, and west of us that if we don't get some rain out here, we're going to be in a world of hurt, which could not be good for the lumber mills and the logging that we have out here. Now, there's plenty of mills across the United States, so it will get absorbed. But make sure you got your supply chain issue stuff figured out, guys, because I think that is going to be the key for the rest of 2021 here, because I think that's going to be what's going to challenge us. Now, other things to think about, especially if you're doing business here on the West Coast or west of the Rockies. Make plans for what happens on your job site when the power goes out with rolling blackouts. Do you have a generator so your crew can keep going? Because I think we're going to see this year more of those rolling blackouts when we have fire dangers. If you get that heavy wind and dry conditions, you're going to see them shutting power off all across the West Coast. So make sure you've got a plan for that. Make sure you've got a power system. There's battery power now that you can run. Milwaukee's got that one with the MX Fuel, where you're just running off a power station. You don't have to have a generator. And many contractors have generators for those job sites that don't have temporary power hooked up. I think that is going to be key to have that thing fueled up and ready to go. I mean, we're seeing out here, the news this last week is because of a trucker shortage, and that's a whole other thing, that they were running low on the smaller airports on jet fuel so they could do water drops and fires. There's plenty of jet fuel out there. They just don't have enough truck drivers out there. So some of that is because of California. That's a whole other story. Now that they've made it where truck drivers can't be independent down there, they have to be employees. That has changed how trucking's going in and out of that state. But we got to be really careful. So buckle down. Make sure you've got the materials going forward. Carry a little bit of inventory. And, of course, right now, as far as lumber inventory goes, it's the expensive part of this year. So make sure that keep it tight on your lumber inventory. Keep enough for your projects coming up. But don't load up right now, because you're going to be loading up on the high side, not loading up on the low side. And let's make sure we don't go hoarding this stuff like toilet paper when it comes back. If we run into Home Depot or Lowe's or your favorite local lumberyard that I like to purchase things through. Make sure you don't go in there and buy up more materials than you really need, because if we can all kind of be a little patient with that, it'll help those prices go back down and, more importantly, stay down. All right, guys, we got a great show coming up ahead this weekend. We're going to be talking about storm preparedness in a little more detail this weekend. We got a lot of different subjects going on in hour number one. And hour number two, we're going to talk with David Applebaum, architect of the stars. Caroline and I and David Applebaum talk about that. And, of course, we talk smack about Portland here, and we were getting the Best Pizza Award from Bloomberg Magazine, and that was its own thing, and I took a lot of heat for that. But, I like good pizza. It's even better than New Jersey pizza. All right, everybody, have a great rest of the day. Thanks for listening to Around the House Pro Insider.
Somewhere unseen and undiscovered, anywhere beyond the mean. Life is a love song, let's be lovers. We're all